What's up, guys? It's the Bald Eagle here, bringing you another video. And today's topic is some hospitals charge as much as 10 times for CT scans than others. And this article is by Melanie Evans, and I was doing some reading again early this afternoon, and pretty much depending on which hospital you go to, on the low end, you can pay as little as $199 before insurance covers most of the medical costs, and then you pay your deductible, and as high as more than $1,800 for the same CT scan. And I found that really interesting because one of the most controversial political topics is medical debt, health insurance. Should you pay for it? Should your employer pay for it? Should the government pay for it? And how should all that be subsidized and whatever? And I know a lot of my friends in my age range, I'm kind of a young guy, most of them don't even have health insurance because either number one, their job doesn't offer it, number two, they make too much money, so they have to shop on the marketplace. They would have to pay a lot out of pocket, or they just rather not deal with the system at all. And some of them are still young enough where they can still get covered under their parents' plan. And so depending on what your job is, how old are you, or how much money you make, getting health insurance can be kind of complicated. And I understand that. I'm lucky enough to have a job that offers health insurance. But even for me, I still pay high deductibles depending on where you go, who's in your network, or whatever. So anyway, as I was reading this article, it seems that 50% of hospitals don't actually make their prices public for things as scans and medical procedures and hospital stays. And I don't know about you guys, I've gotten surprise bills from hospitals where it's like $400, $800, $1,200 to get a simple scan or a simple medical procedure, or whether they had to treat you for something or whatever. And you think, wow, I have insurance. Why is this bill so high? Why is it $800 for a simple scan? Why is it $1,700 to get seen by a doctor? And if you're there for like an hour or whatever, or sometimes, you're here to get something simple. You're there for like 15 minutes, and then 2 weeks down the line, you get a bill for $300 for a 15-minute visit. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's unfair to the consumer. It's unfair to your employer, who has to usually pick up the majority of the bill. And it's just an untransparent system. And as I was reading here, let's see. The study found by Harvard that the biggest price gaps for CT scans are usually for getting CT scans of the head, of the brain, whatever. Same thing for leg CT scans, abdominal CT scans. Prices across the board are not transparent. I think Biden is trying to make it whereas they're going to start penalizing hospitals up to $2 million for not displaying prices publicly on their website. And that's a great start. However, I think they need to go further. I think they need to go as further as mandating, no matter what, public hospitals, private, nonprofit, whatever, no matter what the case is, that prices have to be public. People should be able to shop around for treatment. If one hospital in your area is charging $300 for a scan, but another hospital maybe 10 miles away is charging $150 or $100 for that scan. Now you can go educated as a consumer, depending on who your insurance provider is, go to that hospital and say, hey, I want to go to this provider. It's going to be the cheapest for me. It's going to be the cheapest for my insurance. And I'm going to pay less of a deductible, if no deductible at all, for getting this scan done. I know for some hospitals where you need to get a cast, depending where you go, one hospital might charge $300 for a cast, and your insurance will cover like 80% of it, and you might pay $20, $30 for that medical procedure, while some hospitals are charging $1,500. Your medical insurance provider is covering 50%, and then you get stuck out of pocket with the bill of $750 or more. which I find incredibly unfair. When consumers don't have an educated decision on what they're purchasing, and these large medical companies, these health insurance companies, and these hospitals are going behind closed doors and making agreements on how much they should charge you, these medical insurance companies, how much they can charge for a typical procedure, they're gonna jack up the rates. I mean, if no one's watching, if no one knows what they're charging and you're just gonna pay it, because think about it, if you need to get a scan done for, let's say, breast cancer, and you don't have time to shop around 6 months, a year in advance, you're just gonna go to whatever hospital has the most availability in the quickest time frame, because that's your health. And you want to be, the most proactive in your health situation as you possibly can. And so you're gonna go to whatever appointment is first and pay whoever is in your network. And if you get a bill, you get a bill. And I find that simply very unfair for most consumers, where they aren't getting the most bang for their buck. And let's talk about who should pay for these costs. In my opinion, I think no American should get a medical bill for anything. As long as it's needed. I mean, of course, if it's an elective surgery, if you're getting a BBL or some kind of breast enhancement, that should be paid by you. I don't think the taxpayer and insurance companies should be covering that. But if you need a life-saving procedure, whether it's heart surgery or just a simple checkup or preventative measures, that should be all covered by all of us. We should pay simple tax for it, and no matter what's going on with you, you should be able to go to a hospital, get treated, no matter what, because we have millions of Americans who die of preventative diseases just because they don't have access to health care. As well as a lot of our health care is determined by our jobs. And so if you work a minimum wage job, which isn't offering any kind of health benefits, you are either stuck out going on the health market yourself, paying out of pocket for health insurance, as we both know can be very expensive, or you're reliant on your job to provide that health insurance for you. And the issue with that is then that gives your employer direct control over your health. If they fire you, there goes your health benefits. So a lot of people I know are stuck in really crappy jobs just because they offer half decent health insurance, which I find very unfair. Why should you be stuck at a job because you know that you are not going to be able to find another job that's going to offer comparable health insurance? I think if health insurance wasn't determined by the job that you work at, it would give a lot of Americans a lot more freedom to explore different career paths, to find things that they actually love and not be stuck in a 9-to-5 office or some kind of laborer's job that they hate, just so they can get their family coverage. So I was also looking here where that family health insurance offered as a workplace benefit has increased by 4% across the board. And that might not sound like a lot, but what you gotta realize, you're paying this amount every pay period, every month, every year, however it comes out of your paycheck. So 4% is a lot, and 3/4 of that health insurance increase is covered by your employer. And so once they eat that cost, they're taking that all on your wages. These jobs are less likely to give you a raise because now they're paying more to keep you insured for the same amount of coverage. So overall, guys, I believe health prices should be public for every hospital, no matter what the procedure is, what they're doing, how much, just like a hotel tells you up front on the website how much it is per stay, a hospital should post, hey, it's gonna be $200 for a night per stay, it's gonna be $300 for stitches, $400 for a CT scan, $100 to get this and that medication, this prescription. It should be fully transparent to the consumer because we're the ones paying for it. This will allow us to start competing. This will allow for these different institutions to start competing for your health insurance business. When they have a monopoly on what kind of health coverage you can get and what kind of procedures, and they mandate the prices, there's no power for the consumer because we have to consume health services because things go wrong. People get injured. People have health conditions, diabetes, obesity, heart conditions. No matter what it is, it should be fully transparent to the consumer. So yeah, that sums up my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to give me feedback. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. I hope you have a great day. Christmas is slowly approaching. And yeah, Bald Eagle out.